Hello and welcome to our HealLove Chat. Good morning, Dorte.
Good
It's
morning.
for us, it's morning now.
It is.
Yeah, greetings from Finland. How's Denmark?
And greetings from Denmark. It's a sunny day.
Yeah, the same here. Hey, today we have the most interesting topic. We are talking falling in love. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Yeah, that affects everybody. Somehow,
it does.
Some relationships.
Every relationship starts by falling in love.
Yeah.
Or at least every romantic relationship.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are talking about this topic from our HealLove method point of view. And we are going to cover 3 very important questions. The first is that what determines whom you fall in love with? And the next one is an interesting, because the answer for the first one actually tells would those be the reasons for the possible future challenges in the relationship. And then we finish up with talking how anyone can overcome these possible challenges in their relationships. So how about that? Are you ready?
Yeah, I am.
You're ready. I mean, you're ready because you're a love coach, so you know all about this.
So this is the reason for my work for the last years. So
yeah, I was thinking that we could actually, if you don't mind, we could actually start with very shortly you telling your own history.
Yeah.
How did you get to do love coach work?
Yeah. Well, I've never before dreamt about being a coach or an entrepreneur, but I kept getting a divorced. I have only been married once, but I was a person who was being rejected. I've been in 3 long-term relationships, and I was the one who always got rejected. And when I got rejected for the 3rd time, every person had said the same wording to me about the reason why they left. And none of those, the 2 others none knew what the other person had said, because I kept it for myself, never telling anybody. But they almost to the exact wording said to me that you do everything for everybody, you never do anything for yourself. I can't stand it. And the reason for this was because I was having trouble receiving. It was so much more easier for me to do something for other people. My heart was closed. I was deep down, I didn't know it, but I was deep down afraid of being rejected. And I created this rejection all the time without even knowing anything about it. So when I was divorced again, and I call it divorce even though I wasn't married, because when you have been in a long-term relationship, it is a divorce. I was so unhappy. I was so sad. I cried. And what I also did, I was a master in blaming the other person for my suffering. It was a perfect blame game, because I found the reason in the other person for my suffering. Until one day I woke up and thought, maybe I must start listening to those words they have told me.
Not actually an easy thing to do.
No, so,
we all know that.
Exactly, because you have to turn the mirror and look at yourself. And it is so much easier for us to blame another person for our suffering, but that does not take us out of our suffering. That just lingers the suffering another place. So I start digging, trying to find out what was it in me, and that was that was a long journey, because I was examining lots of books, and I went to different coaches myself. And bottom line, what I found out was that I was the only person in the relationship with, I was the one who did not change. And I found out that even though they were different, there was a common thing lingering on. There was a theme, and that theme belonged to me. So I had to find a way to erase or to take away the theme, so that I could rewrite the story or change the story. So that was quickly brief. Why am I a love coach? And a quick little something about it is that then I started to taking education and creating my own way during the years, because I've been a love coach for many years.
What did you learn? That what would be the things that actually affects, because you met a lot of people with this topic. Would there be like the same themes, or are there different kind of themes?
For every client I have, that they have a theme running, a subconscious theme that they are not aware of. Some people say to me, well, my patterns are totally different. And I start inquiring them, asking some specific questions, which also we will be teaching people for our HealLove method. But and then suddenly they can see the theme. They can understand why do they have the theme, because there is a reason for that theme, and that is what we have to start transforming into in ourselves, so that we can fall in love in a different kind of people or personality.
Well, in the big picture, I would say it's the reason is that you close your heart center. But you can tell about, I'm not sure, do I say a theme, or is it a feeling, or is it a thought, or
it's actually
what could they be with people?
It's actually
what closes your heart center?
It's actually a fear. And what closes your heart is something that you that happens long before you fall in love. It happens to you during your childhood, and it might be different things that happen to you, that you get a fear of not being seen, a fear of not being heard, a fear of not being important, a fear of being rejected. It can be anything, but it is related to fear. And that closes your heart, because you have to survive, and you cannot survive. Literally, you cannot survive if your parents are not treating you that right. And what I mean by that does not mean that it is severe difficulties in childhood. It can be something innocent that can teach you that you are not important. So then you close your heart, and we have to reopen that heart so that you can dare to be seen, or dare
what
to...
about, sorry.
Well, or dare to receive instead of just give.
I was just going to ask that, when people like all of us have experienced all kinds of things that close our hearts. With somebody it's more, with somebody it's just a little bit. But if you have a closed heart and you have experiences like this, how does that affect on your relationships?
Thank you for
or
that.
Maybe your future relationships. What is actually
let me start
what we're talking about today.
Let me start by telling that you fall in love with a person who can give you the wounding, who can give you that fear. You don't know it, but it is familiar to your subconscious mind, and that is why you are wired to fall in love with that person, because it will re-trigger you so that you can overcome it. We never do. We start the blame game, right? So when you transform this wounding or programming in you, you can start falling in love with somebody who can seize you, because what I call it is that to fall in love with a different kind of personality, you can say in your mind, oh, I just need to find somebody else who is different from my former partners. And if you start just by in your mind doing that and still have the programming running in you, you will not fall in love. Those people that will be good for you, that is different from the former partner, will be boring to your system. You will not fall in love with them, with those. And that is why it is so much easier and quicker to change your programming so that you can fall in love in a different person and create the love life of your dreams, because it will be easy for you to be there.
So what I was thinking, I know this is a big question, and I know this would take much more time than we have in this chat today.
Yeah.
But we'll open up a little bit what means conscious coding.
Yeah.
Or programming,
yeah.
reprogramming.
Yeah.
What is it, and what does it mean?
Yeah. The subconscious programming is something that you get installed in your obviously subconscious mind when you're a small child between 0 and 7 years old, and it is programmed, and it takes everything in that is fearful to you, and and it keeps you alive. The subconscious mind is installed to keep you alive, literally keep you alive. But and you know the flight and freeze response. Every time,
like the stress reaction.
Every time something triggers you, it is because it reminds the subconscious mind of something that you experienced earlier in your childhood, and in that childhood you did not have the cognitive mind to understand what is happening, and it goes into your feeling system, and it wants you to walk away or go into a fight to get what you need. And that's
so you actually act like a child even though you're an adult.
When you get triggered, you go to a much younger place inside of you, and you're not reasonable, and you have a self-destructive way of standing in life.
And when you've done this reprogramming for a person, that means that they don't get triggered on the same issues anymore.
Exactly. They don't get triggered in the same way, and which means that they can understand the other person from another perception, which literally means that you will fall in love with another person. But if you are in a relationship, it means that you can understand your partner in a totally different way, which opens up the communication, which opens that he can, for instance, for my own, if I have done that in the relationships I've been in, then I would have been able to receive instead of me pushing away.
Yeah.
Me pushing away created the rejection that I experienced ongoing.
I'm sure because you've done this such many years that you have some, let's say, evidence or experiences, from the real life, how this reprogramming has changed people's lives.
So much. I have worked with both single people and people in relationship, and the single people, I have lots and lots of stories, them writing me back, telling me, oh, you were right, I now fall in love with a totally different man or a woman. It's so wonderful, I feel so seen and heard, whatever was the story. And they start to create what they have longed for years, they are now able to receive. For the people who already were in a relationship, this relationship starts flourish because they changed, so that the synergy in the relationship can change. When just one person changes, it changes the whole relationship, and they fall in love again with this person, even though this person might still have what earlier triggered them. But now the other person is able to not get triggered. When they don't get triggered, they can have another way of relating to this person.
Yeah, and maybe completely different perspective.
Yes, and open the heart and let love in. So,
yeah.
But there also is the possibility, and I will just have to mention that, because there is the possibility that you also fall out in love, but
Yeah.
Because the other person has something that is something they need to work on. Sometimes a relationship has to end, but even though when you change your subconscious mind, you can go on in life much more easier, even though if you have to leave a relationship. But for a relationship with small kids, this is so evident to that the parents work on themselves so that they don't affect the children with their subconscious programming. So yes, there is a lot of evidence for how this works, both the theme that is running and how you can break it so that you can live your future without that thing that you learned to believe about yourself when you were a small child, not knowing anything about life.
Yeah, this is such an interesting topic.
I could
and
go on.
it affects all of us. And like we could go and talk hours about this, but I think this was like a very good short chat about what are the reasons, what are the tools that you can use, and like making the best out of falling in love in the long run. Because everybody knows that falling in love is such a wonderful feeling.
It is.
For a short period, but then sometimes it doesn't work out later, and sometimes it's just like happy for the rest of your life.
I just want to mention a short sentence, because whom you fall in love with, you fall in love with a theme, and that theme will now start in that relationship. That is what happens. So but changing this programming affects not only a romantic.
Exactly. That what I was also going to say, that and I wanted to remind everybody that today we are talking about relationships, but the HealLove method and all this that we talk today, you can actually use it as a tool for anything in your life. It doesn't necessarily have to be a relationship life. It could be any aspects. Get yourself from feeling fear to feeling love, and being able to live your inner life and be true you. So if you are interested in any of these aspects, please go and visit our landing page, heallove.com, and we have an education, HealLove Method education, coming soon. So if you're interested, please come and visit the page. But for today, I would say thank you very much, Dorothy, about these tips, and we'll see you soon with other topics.
Yes, so stay tuned.
Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.